Okay, well, welcome everybody. It's great to see so many young faces, so many veterans, so many people who are here to witness something extraordinary. I mean, that's why I'm here. I'm Robin Kelly, by the way. I'm a professor in history here at UCLA. It is a great honor and privilege to introduce one of the great poets of our time, Kamau Daaood. And I want to begin by saying he is, above all, a man of the people. And let me explain what I mean by that. Yes, he's definitely one of the world's most important poets, the author of beautiful collections of poetry like Ascension, Liberator of the Spirit, The Language of Saxophones. I mean, he's been doing this for a very long time, having begun even before he was part of the Watch Writers Workshop as a teenager. He is a word musician. You've heard the term spoken word, which is used in some strange ways. And spoken word doesn't capture the way in which he plays his instrument, that powerful, mellifluous, baritone voice, his ability to swing a metaphor, make you nod in rhythm and affirmation. The way he interacts with his band, aptly titled An Army of Healers. And there are very few true word musicians some of you may know if you've never heard of Amiri Baraka or Sonia Sanchez or Jane Cortez, the late Sekou Sundiata, Kalamu Yasalam. They're among the few word musicians who really kind of capture this, and of course we have in our midst a master. He's worked with the legendary Horace Tapscott and the Pan-African People's Orchestra. He's made many recordings. His debut disc under his name, Limerick Park. He is the subject of documentary films like Life as a Saxophone, and the more recent film, Limerick Park, which I suggest everyone should check out. He is a jolly, griot teacher. He's taught university students, Cal State Northridge, Otis Art Institute, but more importantly, Kamau has remained a teacher and visionary in his own community, in Limerick Park. He, along with Billy Higgins and other artists, established the WorldStage, which to this day is one of Los Angeles' most important cultural institutions. He made a decision to stay rooted in Los Angeles rather than go to New York, where he could have gone to New York with the Laugh Poets, but he chose to stay here, home, with the people, which is where I began. Kamau Daaood is a man of the people, a man who truly loves his people, who loves humanity, which is why his poetry is so revolutionary. He once said, "My poetry is more aligned with African tradition, and African tradition has an artist, has an artist who has a role in the community, a jali, who has a purpose. It's not to get rich and make records, but to heal situations for some greater purpose." So get ready for some healing.
All right.
Shoot, I gotta hook Robin up when the next book. I said, "Will you do my introduction, Robin?" That stuff you was saying sound good, man. But thank you for that, man. Because a lot of times cats, they just out. It's been out there forever, and they keep expounding on that. But that, I thank you for that introduction. I must start off by saying I want to dedicate this reading to my father, because if it was not for this institution here, I would not be born. That my father was in 49, 50, 51, Luther Keys, and he was fullback for UCLA, or the Bruins here. And my grandmother was a kitchen worker over there in Westwood. They'd be on the bus every day. So, be on the bus every day. And my mother, she was getting kind of worldly. She was starting to hang out with the musicians like Johnny Otis's crew. She sung a little bit, and my grandma was trying to figure out, how am I going to stop this girl from getting too worldly out here, And so one day she approached my father. She said, I would like you to meet my daughter. And I was born at St. John's Hospital right out here in Santa Monica, so the first years of my life were right here. But, I just wanted to, back then the football players, they did the landscape, and, the brothers and stuff, they did landscaping and stuff like that. This was 49, 50, it was a different kind of situation here, You look at them yearbooks and, if they went in certain towns, it was a whole, it wasn't, all balling and top shelf and stuff like that. If you were, a black athlete at that time, because he came a little bit after the great Kenny Washington and Woody Strode and all these cats that were ballers here. But anyway, I want to dedicate this reading to my father, because I took another. I got a degree from SWU, Sidewalk University, and I almost got my doctorate degree from a school of fish, but so I've been able to do the things that I did, just through the back door, and I guess testimony to there are a lot of different ways to acquire learning, and so anyway, that's where it's at. I'm gonna read a few pieces here. I'm gonna read a piece I haven't read in quite a while, so you might have to bear with me a little bit. Thelonious Monk. Yeah, I'm sorry, I had to put it in silent mode. Wow. Oh yeah. This is a piece. It's entitled "Crossing to Mend," and it's a healing suite, and actually it's in 5 movements. It was a piece I did with the dance theater group up in the Bay Area called Dimensions Dance Theater, and I'm gonna read 3 sections to it, and I wanted to, so normally I like a little music stand, because when I get to rocking and rolling and bump my knees on the podium. Yeah, thank you. Healers from the depth of us come. Healers from the depth of us come. Menders of minds, soother of souls. Healers from the depth of us come. Healer from the depth of us come. Menders of minds, soother of souls. Open the circle of wholeness. Open the circle of wholeness. Unblock the flow of goodness. Unblock the flow of goodness. Build bridges to self and humankind. Bridges to self and humankind. Come, warrior, to this place of chaos, a world that's out of tune. This search for peace, the highest jihad in the chest. Come with your herbs and words and hands of warmth. Come with your dance of memory. Come with your fists balled up. Come with your holy water and your flame. Come with your perfect pool of sweat. Come make the body sing. Bring the family near. Make the children hear the sacred beating in their chests. Healer from the depth of us come. Healer from the depth of us come. Menders of minds, soother of souls. Healers from the depth of us come. Healer from the depth of us come. Menders of minds, soother of souls. Dark wanderings. How many hearts of shattered glass? How many bodies on streets with chalk halos? How many homes like cracked egg shells, the dull-eyed assassins, the park bench beds, the blank-eyed mumblers, the petrified tongues, how many grief-soaked corners, how many faceless clocks, the demon think tanks, the jack-legged vampires, how many briefcases full of stolen dreams, the jagged scars, the bruised histories, the one-legged slow dancers, the daggered words, in the coldness, in the red eyes of fear, in the dump of failure, in the twisted ballet of mangled promises, the dreams hanging from a noose, the barbed wire wrapped around hearts, the drive-by relationships. What demons we fight that we created. What rulers do we place above us? What shackles do we wear like shiny bracelets? What prisons that we decorate as temples? Where do we start when we don't know where to start? A heart beating, pushing through a body, a mind open to possibilities, a corner in which to gather strength and knowing, dare to imagine light in the midst of darkness. We mend with love, make a thing full with a knowledge of divinity, near as the jugular vein, closer than the heartbeat. We are the world we see. Sharpen the vision until the reason for our being stands before us, clear as the eyes of infants, eyes that look through us beyond the static of these voices calling us to madness, moving through the thoughts of others, high-tech pimp manipulations, daggering dollars out of reach, smoke screens and puppet strings, life not conscious of itself, breathing not knowing why. What yearning pulls the heart towards destiny? Find the silk voice, the true voice in a crowd, to move in the loving direction of others. We are not alone. A family surrounds us. Grab stillness with the will of spirit. Make this life, this new music that we hear, dance with your fist balled up. Dance as your heart expands. Crush your whining chant of doom, your mantra of backwardness. A heart sits in a pool of perfect light. Be still and notice what calls your attention. Humble the self at the shrine of each moment, in the drumming of memory, in the blue notes impaled on the sharp heads of story. We take time to find the places of hurt. Sweat out the asphalt from our being. Losing affinity for change, remove the dark glasses of illusion that hide the true eyes. Gone are the nights we danced barefoot on earth in alleys of glass. Deep the unearthing of memory. Release any baggage of backwardness. Spirit is the rock of our strength. We bathe our face in love's warm water, overflowing with wordless songs of glory. In a room of light, there are no shadows. Rainbows singing on an infinite wall of colors we have never seen. Colors we have never seen. Naked, framed in endless sky. We have studied the diamonds drops from our tear ducts, dissolving the weight of the heart. We have read the scripture of birth markings and tribal scars, down to the hallelujahs of bare butt truth. Now we understand the language of babies. We are the warriors who face the battlefields of mirrors, humbled in the truth of our seeing, backs washed in sunlight, feet massaged by blades of grass, glowing for growing free. Unleash the mystery, the sacredness of breath. Each moment has music as its potential. Love is a salve that heals, power in the voice that cares, trees shedding their secrets, blessings in the rain, noble as a selfless one's quiet labor, the work done in silence, left behind like art for the babies you dig. Healer from the depth of us come. Healer from the depth of us come. Menders of minds, soother of souls. Healer from the depth of us come. Healer from the depth of us come. Menders of mind, soother of souls. Menders of mind, soother of souls. A little while ago, I went to visit my mother-in-law in Texas, that I had never been to Texas before. And I wrote this piece on the way back called Juneteenth. Jesus lives in Texas, and I mean no disrespect. Here where you wear the sun, air, excuse me, let's start all over. Jesus lives in Texas, and I mean no disrespect. Here where you wear the summer air like a coat soaked in hot water. Bibles covered, curled up like toes in the back windows of automobiles. Bowed heads and healing hands of prayer, holding the mulatto babies, black and white, stuck between forgiveness and forgetness. Somewhere between scars and open wounds, between change and no change, in pockets or principles, in dogma and barking dogs, clinging to old hatreds as some really try to live their Bibles and others strive for something new. The sky is empty, except for the clouds. A fight can jump off without warning like a storm, leaving tears on the ground after the loud voices of the wind stops her singing, and the coolness like sweet loving after an argument. They grow saxophone players in Texas, and the stories are stored in stockyards of 7 million guitars marinating in whiskey and blues prayers. Sometimes the trees whisper will remind you of the sorrow dangling from invisible ropes like bulbs on Christmas trees. We is in Texas, y'all, and Juneteenth sign says, we is free, y'all. We stand choking on 10-pound red, white, and blue watermelon seeds. We drowning in cowboy hats of red soda water. We shitting barbecue bones and slaving in corporate plantations. The divide between the haves and the have-nots wider than the parting of the Red Sea. Old Texas is being rebuilt. Malls and housing development cloned across the landscape. Children with the same faces and names. Starbucks and Walmarts and McDonald's and Bed Bath and Beyond the horizon in towns where everyone knows who's screwing who, but few think of who the mauls. I am a city boy cut off from my roots, looking for my past in books. How could I go to Africa before Texas or Mississippi? I'm gonna read this piece. It's a title piece to this book, The Language of Saxophone, and then I'm gonna go right into this other piece entitled I guess I got it. I do that. Excuse me for 1 second here. Okay. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Entitled Griot Notes. Prana. Moving through time signatures. Bop blown through a wormhole aimed at the earlobe of God. Ponder DNA in saxophone solos, rising over the hills of lips, whirling wonder, articulating the language of bruises and bliss. In urban lit fires, places and spaces of being, if you've been there, you know there. Matrimony of head and heart, child conceived beyond reason, entwined with the moment, revelation swearing, staring at the core of sound undressing. The blues man closes his eyes to sing. Cotton balls and chains, Bibles and jute joints, slurring the edge of English where speech collides with Guinea. Vocal cords plaited like noose knots and braided whips rise from the throat, remembrance of cruel tattoos. Collected oratories of solitude, sometimes the eyes become the ears, sometimes the hands sing of galaxies, pure music of sign language, a new star, born in the mouth, stinging the ears with glory. Holy Ghost spun from a tongue sweeter than the grapes on the front line, sacred act to vibrate the air, shape meaning right on the wind with reverence. The will of a mind seasoned in the wandering of silence, a language common as the song of water. Truth is, some of us live hard, understand the nuances in a moan, know when the saliva is about to boil, when the glass is about to break. Understand the thread of the wind, treasures buried in smiles, pure laughter of rain, or how thoughts harden into things seen and touched, to have experienced the malignancy of hatred, constructed as a house or a world, to have been to the center of pain and given birth to tolerance. Drape these notes in history, save their shadows for remembrance, etched in the petals of illumination, fragrant as a pillow of answered yearnings, no longer shackled by tradition or tribe, fearful of change or difference, free of the gangs we have joined, chanting in the language of saxophones, in the language of saxophone. Freedom in this sound, spinning and turning at the edge of possibilities. In some naked speck of time, a straight line liquefied, dripping earth tones and quantum rhythms, joy split open and poured against the night on a piano, open 24 hours, or prayer in a bed of drumsticks, or laughter peeling at the ends. A flock of birds jailbreak from a throat and fade in the image of some child holding a toy saxophone. This moment improvised a theme of passion, silence, broken up into little pieces and sprinkled like seeds in the midst of tone. Here, where history makes love to the future, gives birth to new words in a plate of rice and curry, peppers dressed in the clothes of a song, and move through the air like a spore, and imprint the mind like a kiss, or pass like a virus. We speak of this day's magic. We speak of sky. We speak of asphalt in the heart that flies, musical libation poured against siren-pierced ears, endless breath woven through the tapestry of time. This hip-hop child of bebop parents scatting new sunrises in the face of tyranny. This bass strung with seaweed, y'all. This constant pulsation of purple funk. We speak of joy and a rainbow of notes. This fat breeze bouncing out of speakers. These drums soaked with dew. This blue articulation, this jitterbug, this boogie chance of old soul flexing in new light. This elongated African song, this new world common ground. We speak of this day's language, this orchestration of tin cans of sticks, this echoes of masters, this torch pass, this message of love sanctified, these beings clutching instruments like lovers, this singing of secrets and wonder, this horn spitting alphabets, this bowl of majestic rhythms, these avant-garde bouquet. What will the tongueless say with a perfect voice? A tree full of alto saxophone players playing bird songs, breaking the chains and pointing us
inward towards our richness, story seeds planted in mind soil, sprouting colors, drops of paint on eardrums. Pictures blossoming now, seeing, speaking in tongues, an image nation rising, coded with journey markings, imprinted with the blue textures of time, our bodies holding us in space. Freedom in this sound, melting in light outside. The box is freedom. Inside they hit our keys, the shackles that binds are the ones we accept. The heart is truly has wings. Outside the box is freedom. Inside they hit our keys, the shackles that binds are the ones we accept. The heart, it truly has wings. The outside the box is. I'm trying to, I don't know, I guess where I'm at in time, but
you got time. Take your time.
I'm taking another place now. It's like, you know, there's the universal and the particular, I guess, the little I and the big I, and this is more personal. You know, it's like, you talk about the world that you see, and then you talk about the more personal world that you are involved with. You know, this is Blue Pachaca. Anybody know what a Pachaca was or was? You know, back in the day. You know, you heard of zoot suits. You know, but anyway, it was like a movement in the 40s that the Latinos went to, and they dressed different, and they, you know, this big thing about the zoot suit riots of Los Angeles and all that kind of stuff. But the story is really in the poem, so I won't kill it. But it's called Blue Pachaca, and it's a piece to Dolores Keys, the woman that the fullback from here met. You know, yeah. There I go, there I go, there I go, there I go. Pretty baby, you are the soul that snaps my control. Such a funny thing that every time. Blue Pachaca, hair of Manila, in blue light, you have taken your mystery with you, gone like the silent flight of birds of paradise. Lady of sorrow, Dolores, you are why sad music makes me happy, why I run to the arms of blue tone when I am in pain. You scatting James Moody in your children's ears, waiting tables in Westwoods for 25 years, lines from a million smiles crease your face. Can I help you? I remember your morning meditation of coffee and cigarettes here at our kitchen table as I made bell sounds with my cereal bowl. All I knew was that I was safe and warm and loved. I did not know the secrets buried within you. It was you, always you, standing next to the heater. Towers of silver coins from the tips the night before, the cars moving through the songs of birds as I rubbed my eyes of dreams. Daddy was gone in the morning when I rose. He would return in the evening with his silence, his privacy, his introversion. His love was large, always quiet. I feared his voice. It had such power. The beauty of his hand surrounding us, never abusive, even when holding his belt like a whip. Wisdom unfolding in stinging lessons. I remember the laughter in our house. Jesse Belvin and Dinah Washington would tell stories from our speakers. And my little sisters with the little white dowels, Auntie said that when you were young, you were Pachaca. You hung with the Mexicans because in Santa Monica in the 40s, there were few blacks around. I wish I knew your bebop and salsa laughter when you were a free bird, dancing with the zoot suits. I never talked to you with the eyes and voice of a man. You left so young. So now I sift through the memories, listening for your whispers, for your soft voice of blue light in the great house of silence. Blue Pachaca, Lady of Sorrow, your father is from the Philippines. Manila and Africa in your bloodstream sailed to me, Negrito. My uncle is my grandfather. Your mother is like your sister. Raped at 15 by her big sister's husband. My uncle cut and gave me fresh sugar cane. My grandfather was a pervert. This man that was two people who tried to clear his karma by giving me his old car. And now I suck the sweet juice of the cane and spit out the bitterness of his memory of abuse in our family. Blue Pachaca, hair of Manila in blue light, bebop and salsa laughter. You have taken your mystery with you, gone like the silent flight of bird of paradise from a vase of warm tears. Yeah. I'm going to read this piece to my mentor, the great composer and arranger and community organizer and pianist, father figure, brother figure, Horace Tapscott. How many are familiar with Horace Tapscott? Okay. You know, that's the thing. It's like there's this concept of what artists are supposed to be and what they're supposed to be about. And okay, prior to them having phonographs and and all these kind of mass ways to get sound out and stuff like that, the artists were around people. They interface with people. Now, I mean, it's to the point. I mean, with the corporations, they can pretty much brand these images and these sounds and sculpture this static any kind of way they want to make us respond to this what they consider artists or what and the people that do it the old way and that sing in the churches and make you cry and they're in the community and play at funerals and I mean just in these little places around the corner that everybody knows and feels, and the ones teaching the kids how to play piano and how to play instruments and stuff like that. All these kind of people, they're non-people now. Mm-hmm. and the people that are like like that have names and have a record out there and everybody knows of. I mean, man, the stuff that I hear. I mean, from the so-called rap genre. I'm not knocking rap. I'm knocking what's being put out there. And because I know there's a conscious side, and there are people working towards the light, and there's people that is just lost in this based materialism and base desire thing, and you watch, you go down the street and you hear this stuff. I would be basically ashamed to even throw out a lot of these things. And I'm not no prude. I'm not no, I haven't heard everything. But the stuff that I got to hear, I mean, this cat had a party 2 doors down from our house the other night. So I peeked out the back door and, and the kids out there having fun. But the stuff that they was talking about, man, I couldn't believe it. But the thing is that these things begin to mold and shape our consciousness. Everything is food. Everything. We're everything that we absorb, everything that we eat, everything that we hear, it goes into making who we are and what we are and how we think. And if all we hear is a bunch of this kind of stuff, it's making another kind of human being. It's developing another kind of human being. And there are, I mean, There are reasons for all of this. You know, I mean, there are economic reasons for all of this. There's a portion of our society that don't want deep thinking human beings walking around.
That's right.
And see, the thing is, they got built-in mechanisms in this stuff, like, you know, oh, you're a player hater. You know, so anytime you have any kind of criticism, we can't engage in dialogue. You just hating on me. You know, you just hating on me, you know. Bling, 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 you know. I mean, you ain't got the paper. I mean, you know, but, you know, I mean, man, you know, I'm sitting up here, not only is the pants down here, but the dude's drawers are dirty. Yeah. And I'm looking at brown spots on the back of this cat, and he's standing on the corner, and you can't, you know, man. You know, I mean, it's like, so, but what, to get back to the point, here you have a man that gave his life to his community. You know, that could have ran off Horace could have ran off to New York and made a bunch of money and, you know, and did this and that, but he chose to stay with his family, you know, and within his community. And chose to work on that level, and he gave, you know what I mean, a bunch of us were kids running around him, and he, you know, he saw the first time I read poetry in public. Lena Horne, how many of you heard of Lena Horne? Yeah. Okay, Lena Horne's son was a part of the organization that I became involved with. His name was Ted Jones. Ted was on dialysis, but he was a writer, and he was, you know, he was the archivist. A-R-K. You know, he kept the story. But anyway, I was at South Park on the east side. And you know, I had some of my poetry with it, and I was showing somebody in the audience, and Ted was in the vicinity, and so Ted went over there and you know, he said, what you got there, man? You know, I said, I showed him some poetry. Next thing you know, there's a bandstand in South Park, and it was Malcolm X's birthday, and they had, you know, like the Horace and the band's on the stage playing. He went over there and told Horace, he said, hey, young blood out there, you could say blood back then, it didn't have the same connotations. There was a young guy out in the audience, you know, had some poetry. Next thing I know, I'm up there reading my poetry, you know, with a 14-piece band behind me playing Equinox. But I mean, what kind of vision? What kind of trust? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean. You know, like you're not gonna mess up my show. I mean, you know, like I'm me. I me. You know, that kind of concept. You know, it wasn't that kind of concept. It was we young guy. You lift him up. You know, bring him in. Just, you know, it was that kind of thing going. It's a different concept now. You know, I was in Somalia in the late 70s. Now Somalia now, you know, you got a whole nother imagery around it. We were there for a conference, Human Development Models in Action. And we went there and you know, they showed us how the desert was moving away from us, and how, I mean, it was encroaching, and how they were out there planting cactus all over to stop the desert from moving. Actually, the Claudia Mitchell Kern was on that trip with us. She was here, and what's the point that I was trying to make? Zoom, you know. So, but oh yeah. So this artist named Houston Conwell. All these guys, they did a performance piece at the Watchtowers, and to send me off to Africa to help me raise some money so I could go. And so all these artists got together, and you know, and this. So Houston had made these little things, and it was full of soil from Watts. So I was supposed to take this Watts from soil and give it to the Somalian people, you know, as a gesture. So I get over there. Now here I'm at their national theater. You know, 2,000 people out in there, all these sisters and bright in, all, you know, hear all this sound, and I'm reading my poetry, and I know they can't understand what I'm saying, but I guess they were just feeling the energy, you know. And I gave the thing, but when I got, but I watched their artists every time that they stepped up.
It wasn't like, okay, and now here it's Kamau Daaood. And they all black, you know, it was like the artists would get up there and they would go. Everybody would be on the one. And then the artist would get up there, he wouldn't curtsy, he wouldn't bow, he would just close a circle. You know, it was like, I represent you, I'm up here, you know, I'm gonna do my thing. It's not me, it's us. It's us. There's a different way of this rugged individual thing. I don't know, you know, but anyway, I just wanted to say that it's a shame that I could come in Los Angeles and say, how many people have heard of Horace Tapscott? And I see about 5, 6, 7 hands go up in a room of 40 people. And it just, I'm gonna read the piece. You have table of contents for a reason, huh? You see. I'm sorry. Oh, there it is, okay. I am Horace Tapscott. My fingers are dancing grassroots. I do not fit in the form, I create form. My ears are radars charting the whispering of my ancestors. I seek the divinity in outcasts, the richness of rebels. I will pray for you on this snaggletooth piano, songs for the unsung where lineage was fed to sharks in the Atlantic. I will concertize you in the trance right here in this classroom, conjure spirits that will sing you into remembrance. On a piano so far out of tune it opens doors to other worlds. I will climb inside the piano searching for our history. I will assemble a choir of unborn voices to teach you what the future sounds like. I will love you with the warmth of an African breeze. I walk these sacred streets and remember cola nuts and cowrie shells and how well our uncles wore their trousers. I am Horace Tapscott, and I am not for sale. The eyes look inward as the story is told. Voices painted in the dignity of old photographs. We have seen blood on the piano keys and cobalt blue chains. Slurred notes as truth wells up in the corner of our eyes. Our richness, like honey, stuck to the tips of singing fingers with palms held up in the gesture of prayer. Smoke thick as frankincense dance on pilgrimage, fade like golden echoes at the porch of our ears. To have seen life moving, smooth as a red dress on a purple spirit on a slow yellow day, cracked open the moment, like children laughing with their mouths held wide, trying to catch the sun. Remembering when our ways were straight and rooted, when we did what we had to do with what we had to do it with, under the sheltering wings of family, walking lines to ourselves with spirit guides, elders correcting children, the way folks held their heads, the gathering of smiles, oh singing fingers, oh swell fire in the chest, we should know such joy, 1,000 eyes watching children grow next to flowers as old ones pray over food, where men with shiny shoes and swap tales and work songs, men knotted at a gut level in a common pool of sweat, remove their hats to pray, remember? And the women form bands of healing, quilting rhythms and tucking them into an arc of stars, sailing through hardships, a storm of hardships, deep changes bring out the beauty of a song where babies hide their fingers in gray beards, weaving teardrops and laughter in the bright cloth of collected wisdom etched in multicolored ink on memory's wall, and love would hover in the room like the scent of good cooking and fall down like warm hands on the backs of travelers.
A family was a circle. And a community was a family. And we did what we had to do with what we had to do it with. Oh, singing road of destiny, blanket of night whispers, rose essence and spirit hum, talking wood and flame dancer, street theater and hard sport, music oozing from each breath, kissing our ears like angels, the sacredness of strife. And Papa used to say, take time and give it to others. Take time and give it to others. The eyes look inward as the story is told. Voices painted in the dignity of old photographs. We have seen blood on the piano keys and cobalt blue chains and slurred notes. I am Horace Tapscott. My fingers are dancing grassroots. I do not fit in the form, I create form. My ears are radars charting the whispering of my ancestors. I seek the divinity in outcasts, the richness of rebels. I walk these sacred streets, remembering cola nuts and cowrie shells and how well our uncles wore their trousers. I am Horace Tapscott, and I am not for sale. Thank you.
Okay, so this is a great time, especially for those young people who've never heard of Horace Tapscott or don't know where Limerick Park is or any of that, to ask questions, to engage this great poet healer. And I'll call students. Yes.
What days are you at Limerick?
You know, I'm in and out all the time. There's an organization over there called the WorldStage, and I founded it. I put in about 20 years over there, but you know, I kind of pull back, and other people are there. But they still have a full program there. There's a writers meet there on Wednesday night, and you know, you get critique and you get the, you know, open mic kind of thing, and you know, they have a jam session. They teach classes over there, you know, music classes, and they have concerts on the weekend. But WorldStageorg. You know, WorldStage.org, and you can check them up online and see what's happening over there.
Well, they have probably the best music program for young people in the city. You know, it's a well-kept secret, unfortunately.
Yeah, I had a question. I was wondering how we as a young generation can like push away from base materialism.
You know, everybody has to deal with their life as best they can, but I mean, you know, there are things like pulling away. I mean, you know, like can be as simple as make sure that you're not turning on the TV. You know, go on a media fast. You know, where you just fast for a period of time, so you can hear your own thoughts. I mean, you know, because half the stuff that especially around election time, you'll hear people arguing about their side and their particulars, and they're arguing about the stuff. They're using the same rationale that they hear on the radio and TV, and not the stuff that they have come to themselves. In this book, 1984, they had this. There was an organization in there that the Big Brother had created just for the radical people, to catch the radical people and put them in it, you know. So even the so-called left or so-called humanists and stuff like that, I mean, even their arguments a lot of times are even formed and supported by the corporations. I mean, you know, like stuff like meditation and silence and breaking weight, so you can, like, I mean, you know, go to the ocean, spend time, you know, just walking on the beach and just time where you can clear your head, and then discerning about about the stuff that you read, and challenging and researching deeper, you know, those kinds of things, and I mean, you know, I mean, we're all affected by it to one degree or another. I mean, there's like this reality TV stuff. I mean, you know, like if you turn it on, you're sitting in front of it. I mean, that all that drama, what Mary J say, no more drama. I'm saying all that drama and stuff like that. I mean, it becomes somewhat interesting for a minute. You get drawn into. Did she say that? No, she didn't. Oh no, she didn't say that. You know, I mean, you'd be all up into that, all that. You know, turning it on, watching it, taping the shows that come up and stuff like that. And if you go into, they're not talking about nothing that's gonna uplift you or better humanity. If they had I don't know, but I'm just saying that you have to question. You have to learn to question. To ask questions. You have to learn to look at yourself and check yourself and what you're doing. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, this stuff is so precious. This moment right here. And the thing is, it's like you know, people like you know, people have programs set out for you. But you know, we say that poem say outside the box of freedom. I mean, excuse me, I ain't gonna fall and hurt myself. Can't nobody stop me from doing this. I mean, now this is just an example of how this form and this structure and how I have to relate to it. You don't have to do things and be everything that's set out for you. I could have read the poem sitting out there in the middle of the audience and had everybody around me and stuff like. I mean, it could have been done in so many different ways. I mean, you have. Excuse me, I'm gonna get down now. I'm gonna be careful. I'm gonna be careful. Thank you, brother. You know about old man. I see you got your cane.
You might be needed.
No, but all I'm saying is that you know, I mean, you know, this is real. You know, this is real. We in here for real. You know, this is not. You're not doing something. You're just sitting up here taking up space. You're right here in this moment. And you know, and you know, I mean, what if I was dead? I mean, people do die, right? You know, all the stuff that I wanted to do tomorrow, or when I left here, or when you know, I can't do it now. This is real. This is your life. This is a time. You I was saying, well, I'm planning for tomorrow, and I'm planning. That's good. But I'm just saying, you have to take your life and this breath seriously. When I say seriously, I'm not saying. I'm just saying seriously, precious, divine, right now. You know, and all this. You know, I mean, you know, the school and, you know, all that's important. And the way, and there are reasons why, you know, the society sets up stuff so everybody can kind of move around. But I remember there was this poem. It said, yeah, we was coming home from the Black Power Conference at 3 o'clock in the morning, talking about how dumb and brainwashed our sisters was and brothers was, while we waited. Nobody around while we waited for a red light to tell us when to go. You know, I'm saying we all have. You know, but all I'm trying to get you to think about is just that. Hey, it's precious. Life is precious, and that a lot of this stuff is. I mean, there's so much beauty and stuff within you, and you don't have to be manipulated into all these different things by all these this stuff that's out here. You have to choose what you want to do with your life and get to it and do it while you have the chance to do it. And you got to listen. There's all these. What Frances Cress Welsing uses this image where she talks about the psychological bullets are flying. I mean, man, we getting bombarded with so much stuff constantly. You know, and you don't know what the next moment. So do it now. You got beef with your family, straighten it out. There's some stuff you want to do with your life, or you got some ideas, work on it now. You know, prepare, do the things you're doing. You know, you want to enjoy the moment, you want to have fun, that's cool too. But just take your lives and your moments very seriously. You know, and if you seek, to get back to your question, you know, if you seek, you can find yourself. You can find what it is your purpose here. You know, what your purpose here is, you know, because we all have something that we need to contribute and give to, and things that we need to do. But we can only discover that for ourselves. So anyway, I'm quit preaching now. So.
Amen.
Because if no one has a question, I actually have a question. We've got a couple more minutes. Okay, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So, one thing that always amazed me with you and many people of your generation is that you made this conscious decision to stay in a community, but also to be politically active, to try to transform that community. And you're dealing with, you know, waves of police repression, waves of disinvestment. I mean, in other words, it's like a war zone. But you made this choice. Why do you think your generation made that choice? Or many in that, not everyone, but many in that generation made a choice. And then how can we return to that return to community, return to an art that's really rooted in kind of transformation, trying to change the self and our community?
You know, I think your questions to me are both tied together, because basically we were very fortunate in the time that we came up in terms of the things that were supporting these kind of ideas. I mean, you know, I came up in the 60s, and you know, and everything was being questioned. You know, people were and everything was up in upheaval and revolt. And so it was very it was very easy for us to take these alternative paths, because there were examples around us of it. And I'm a firm believer that during this time, one of the things really got out of control as far as the corporate interest in the establishment was concerned, and that they went into think tanks, and there were a lot of different programs, 20-year, 30-year, 10-year, 20-year, 30-year programs that said never again would there be this kind of explosion that there was, and we're going to put things in place. And I think those things were really mind control kind of things, you know, and commercial kind of things. So, you know, that end up affecting people and how they think, how they look at the world. So where we didn't have the psychic bombardment that children and people living today have. It is tremendous now. I mean, how they, branding. I mean, this concept of branding. You know, I mean, how they can take an idea, shape an idea, put it out there in the environment in a certain kind of way that everybody identifies it pretty much the same way and responds to it and deals with it. It's a very, 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 very powerful tool, and that's why I would advocate. No matter what your spiritual belief is or religious belief is, I think that taking time to spend with yourself in silence is a very, very good tool to try to really get in touch with the things that you're thinking about, to think about your life, to think about being here and all those kinds of things. Aside from you know, what's happening around you. I mean, you got to find a. I mean, that's free. It's still here, and it's still available. That can't be taken away from you very easily. You know, unless you're in a cell somewhere and they're pumping Lil Wayne over the box, you know, for 24 hours. You know, and they do that. They do that kind of stuff too. I mean, it's been done. That's been done. But so in terms of now is a very, very challenging time, and I think the thing is that we have to want to, and that I think that basically, and you start around you. You start with your family. You start with your interest, and try to be as wholesome and sincere, and as organized and disciplined and as focused about the things that you want to do in the sphere that you have control over. You know, and then like elements link up with like elements. You know, and you know, those kinds of things. But it's not an easy time. But who said it's going to be easy?
Yeah, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Well, once again.
Thank you.